Hi, welcome back to Wallflowers. So, as you can see, we're just sitting down to our evening meal. It's quite late in the night. We've been really busy today. I've been shopping this morning. We've been to a tabletop sale in our local food bank. It was a lovely table. It was a lovely tabletop sale. We managed to get a couple of things to put away for Christmas gifts. And we supported them while they're there. The ladies do an absolutely fabulous job. And we managed to pick some fresh fish up that we could buy whilst we were there. So we're planning on getting the Christmas decorations down off the loft. We're going to set the tree up, and we'd like you to come along with us. We're just going to eat the last of the lasagna from last night's tea. From last night's meal, and we've made some lovely cheese and garlic bread from the luscious French loaf tiger bread that we got this morning. We're just going to tuck in, feed our tummies, get ourselves nice and warm. Probably have a hot brew first, and then Mr. Wallflowers will go into the loft, bring all the bags down, and we'll bring you along and start putting the decorations together. Oh, and also, whilst I remember, we're doing a live stream tomorrow. Mr. Wallflowers is going to join me again. So everything and anything is up for discussion. But what we'd like to talk about is how we used to live. Not only how we used to live or how our parents used to live, but the Christmases we went through. We were born 66 and 67 and 68 respectively. We often talk about the gifts we received or the memories we remember. It's not always about the gifts, but some of the toys that we had when we were younger and some of the different phases that we went through during those times, and how the struggle didn't affect us and actually has enhanced our memories. Probably didn't do the same for our parents at the time, but as children, going without didn't really affect us as harshly as parents looking at children thinking we're not providing. So long as we're warm, so long as we're fed. In the early years, we hear the tales so long as they had the apple and orange, and we've always had more than just an apple and orange, so we've never gone without. So don't panic if you haven't got a lot to give the children, because the children will look back and remember the simple things and remember the love. So let us just eat our evening meal and we'll crack on. So we've got to the stage where Mr. Wallflowers has brought everything down from the loft that we've kept aside as Christmas stuff, which we do every year, and it gets bigger and bigger, and we decipher what we're going to use and what we're not going to use. So we've got the big hockey bag. Now, if I remember correctly, most of the stuff in the hockey bag we decided not to use last year, but I might be wrong, so we'll have to sift through them and see. I actually bought 3 rolls of paper today, and as you can see from what we've already got in the box, I didn't really need any, but it'll be kept for future years, and it's there. Just looking through some of the top stuff, I bought that set of paper plates today for snacks and treats, sweets and things to put around for Christmas Day. And this near identical set, unopened, is already in the bag. So, if I had any common sense, I'd have got the Christmas decorations down before I went to the sale today. But unfortunately, it came the other way round. I've also got a pack of opened bowls and an unpack of open bowls. So I've got unopened plates, unopened bowls, etc., all from last year. So they're the napkins I've bought this year. And I've already got, the best part of a box of napkins from last year. So I'm sure to find different things like that along the way. Little bows, little Father Christmases, etc. So we'll go through them gradually. But one thing we have got that I normally do first is the wreath for the front door. Now, Mr. Wallflowers and I bought this, would we say 22, 23 years ago? We bought this in about 1999, so longer. And we paid £10 for it from a flower shop. £10 was a lot of money then, you know, it still is now, but it was, yeah, we weren't happy with paying £10 at the time. So this bow wasn't on it, this piece wasn't on it, and traditionally, I just put fresh bits on it each year. So this bit was a centerpiece from a cake, and it's plastic, so I've decided to add that onto the wreath because, of course, it'll rain outside. And these two pretty bows are from a luxury cracker set which we were gifted from a friend last year. We kept the hats and we kept the bows off the crackers because they're such a luxury set. And what I'm doing this year is unraveling the bows and attempting to jazz the wreath up a little bit with what would normally be used as waste. People would normally throw the cracker wrappings away, but they're beautiful. So if I can actually see, put your glasses on, Mary, you might see a bit better. If I can actually see to unravel it, there we have it. So I'm literally going to put it, I don't know whether I put it equal or offsided. I'll put this one equal. I'm going to twizzle it around the branch on the reef and just straighten the bow and attach that. Now the other bows are like a gold with a fruit dot in the middle, and I'm going to put one top to bottom. Our near 25-year-old reef now looks like a brand new reef again. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't need to look brand new. That's not the point I'm saying, but I just like to jazz it up with the bits we've got. It's only hanging on the door outside, but it looks really festive and it'll look really welcoming. You know, these extra touches are making me smile if no one else. So it just looks so festive and it looks lovely. I think more than anything, where we live, I suppose it's anywhere, it's not just where we live, is the fear of having the wreaths stolen this year. People have had their plant pots stolen in the summer and different things, but if we thought like that, we'd never do anything. So I'm not going to stop putting the wreath on the door. I'm going to enjoy what we normally enjoy to an extent. And there we have it. Hopefully that looks nice and festive. What do you think, Mr. Wallflowers? Doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to get blown away, blown around in the rain and in the wind. But I think it looks beautiful. Well, if you're saying 99, yeah, makes it 23 years old, doesn't it? You know, absolutely fantastic. It was worth every penny we spent on it. Fabulous. I was just wondering. It says made in China, but we did buy it in a local flower shop. Yeah. So that's part one. I think we'll set up the tree, and then go from there. Really, I think that's the best place to start. We get the tree out. Excuse me. Get the tree out. We keep coming across things that the boys have made at school along the way. Absolutely beautiful decorations. Nope, don't break it now. Absolutely beautiful finger painted decorations, and our youngest son Oscar made that. Here's one of the examples of Christmas cards he brought home along the way. It's me, ho ho ho, Mummy and Daddy, Merry Christmas, love from Oscar. So I should imagine he was about 7 then. Absolutely beautiful. And yes, we bring these out every year and we thoroughly enjoy looking at them and cherishing them. He's 19 this year. Yeah. So, we had real trees for many a year. We used to sell them as a business. We used to run a fruit and veg business from home, um, going back about 8 years ago now. And we ran that for quite a long time. 8 years ago, we stopped. Organic fruit and veg we sold, Christmas trees, plants, anything green. We sold what do you call it? Grass fed cow's milk. Um, everything and anything. Organic eggs, you name it. Absolutely everything we sold. And Christmas trees were a hit every year. We used to get everybody come near and far to buy our Christmas trees and deliver them. Yeah, and we did it all at rock bottom price. And we had one even afterwards for many a year in the house, but it is messy, it is costly, and in the end we gave up. My mum bought us this tree, and she also bought 2 new trees for her home because I stopped buying the real ones for her. And up until last year, my son still had one of the trees. It was just a really slender tree. You actually threw the whole netting over a pole, and the decorations were already on it. My son had it in his house up until last year, and it's gone now. It's gone to Christmas tree heaven. But we've had many a good year out of it. And so this one gets to live another year. So let's get it out piece by piece. We've got the LED lights. Oh, we travelled to take a food parcel up to our sons this evening. That's why we're running so late tonight. Um, we took them up paracetamol, hot water bottles, extra blankets. The two of them have got the sniffles at the moment. And we're just trying to play mum and dad and look after them. And we took them up some goodies. And as we were travelling, there weren't many, it wasn't every house, but there were quite a few still with blazing lights outside, lit up ornaments, not just one, but 50, 60, 100 in one garden. And I think to myself, how are those people paying that electricity bill? When we went up, it was still daylight, and they were on. We come back, it was pitch black, and they were blazing. We're not even 12 days before Christmas yet, and people are using all this, electricity. They've literally got money to burn, haven't they? How no matter how beautiful it looks, don't get me wrong, it looks beautiful, but it's just for their personal home display. I get people walk the streets and come to look, but there are places we can go to, and we do put some money in the coffers and we go and enjoy that, and hopefully that pays for the electricity use and the buying of the ornaments that they have. But to be able to afford such extravagance to burn that electricity outside from lights or heat that you're not benefiting of right now in this depression, this crisis that we're going through, it beggars belief for me. It really does. So That's one part of the Christmas tree. I'm guessing the rest is in the hockey bag. I just want to show these. Don't let me lose those glasses. I just want to show these two Christmas stockings. Now these must be, gosh, they must be well over 10 years old. That's my eldest son's name, Crawford. Personalised stocking for him. And our younger son is Oscar, and that's his personalised stocking. And as I say, they're about 10 years old. Well, about 15. It's still looking perfect condition, once I've brushed the bits off. But there's two here that I had in my single days. So before I met Mr. Wallflowers and before the children were even thought of, in my single days, I had a flat. And I'd bought these right at the beginning of getting my flat near Christmas. So, if I was approximately 18 years old, how old does that make these? About 36 years old. And again, the white's not absolutely perfect, but they look beautiful. They look absolutely beautiful, and I have such fond memories of these hanging in this home as a family home, in our previous family home before we moved here, and of course in the days when it was just my home, But one's lost a bow around the neck, but other than that, they're absolutely perfect. And we normally put a chocolate treat or something hanging out those and trying to put gifts in them. In the early days, the boys did have a letter or so in the pocket, but they soon stopped that as they got older. Um, and they do tease me now as adults. You ruined it for me. You told me there was no Santa. I remember my eldest son giving him a bath one day, washing his hair, make sure his hair was washed properly. And he said to me one day, we always had the ethos, we wouldn't lie to our children, although we always kept the Santa Claus story going. For some reason, we play along. I suppose it's that hope, but then that hope gets shattered. Anyway, we always had the ethos within the family, we wouldn't lie. And if they did ask, we'd tell them the truth. And I'm washing his hair in the bath one night, and he says to me, Mum, he said, we've been talking in school today, and the other kids are saying that you're telling fibs, that there is no Father Christmas, and their parents have told them the truth, they buy the presents. My heart sank. I thought, oh, he's looking at me, telling me I'm lying to him. I couldn't continue. So I said, well, let me tell you, you're old enough now. There isn't a Santa Claus. I said, but we have hope and we have spirit at this time of year, and this is where we try and help everybody, and we don't try and take any glory for ourselves. We just try to help people, and that's why Dad and I say all the presents are from Santa. He was so disappointed. He sobbed his heart out. There isn't a Santa. There isn't a Santa. My eldest son is 25 now, and as a sarcastic point of view, he always throws it at me. You took Santa. You took Santa. You told me there wasn't a Santa. You took Santa. We laugh and joke about it now, but my heart wrenches when I think back to that night, washing his hair in that bath and having to face reality, and it's so difficult. And we always try to discuss the truth as a family. We play the game, and sometimes I don't know why we do these things. It becomes tradition, but then you lose trust within your family, and I don't know why we do it. We've got lots of crackers. We tend to pull crackers at the Christmas dinner, but we as a family have a New Year's Day's dinner as well, and we enjoy that tradition. We have a big roast dinner Christmas Day, and we have it again New Year's Day. It just stretches the holiday, and we really enjoy it. We have crackers on both days, pull them and wear the hats, and we love it. And here's the bottom of the tree. Yeah, we'll come back. So we're at that point now where we've pieced the tree together. We have to try and disguise the centre part of it. So there's a piece of the frosting part where we can actually tie it round the tree, and that kind of disguises that gappy bit in between. And then, as we all know, if you've got a, don't really want to call it a fake tree, what do you call it, an artificial Christmas tree, you have to kind of give it some shape. So that's where I'm up to now. I remember the boys would always want to help me put the decorations on and shape the tree, and obviously pure excitement at this stage, wanting to get ready, and you wouldn't want to cut them out at any stage. But I'd have to say, well, if I have my part, which would be giving the tree its shape, then you all can put the decorate. Dad can do the lights. That's his section. Mr. Wallflowers always puts the lights on. I don't know if it happens in your house, but the man in the house generally likes to put the lights on the tree, and that seems to be the man of the house's role. And then the boys could decorate the tree. A few squabbles who'd want to put what one on. And sometimes you'd be tempted to rearrange them once they'd gone up to bed, but you can't. You just got to let them have their bit of artistic temperament, haven't you? And you know not to put the chocolates on too early or the candy canes on too early, because temptation is too much as they got older. Well, no, yeah, I'd say it was easier when they were younger because they don't eat. If they were allowed, they'd ask if they were allowed to eat sweets because we used to have a limit on. Yeah, they knew Santa was watching, so it was a peril. And they knew, excuse me, they knew they were limited to their sugar intake, and what sweets they'd be allowed throughout a day. So, sounds awful, but they'd be much more trustworthy not to eat the chocolates on the tree or not to eat the candy canes than when they got older. You know, the temptation of once they knew Santa wasn't watching, and somehow, you know, you seem to give them more of their own levels of how much sugar to an extent that they'd eat. And you empower them with more trust. And when it comes to Christmas, you have to keep that beady eye on and still play mum and dad and still make sure that they're not having too much. There's too much confectionery about at Christmas, Easter, Halloween, and all the corporatism now is based on confectionery, you know. And it's not fair. It's just not fair, you know. It's not healthy. It's not conducive to health, is it? I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to concentrate on what I'm doing, but I can't really see the extent of what I'm doing. So I'll probably mess with this on and off all night. I'll just get the basics of it down. The box underneath was probably wrapped a good 6 years or so ago. The silver box underneath. Um, when we first got this tree. And I'd say more than that. I'd say about 8 years ago. I'd say the tree's about 8 years old. My mum sadly passed 6 years ago. My mum was wheelchair bound. She had Parkinson's disease, and she loved aesthetics things. You know, she loved the sea, the glittering lights, the trees, the baubles. She loved everything like that. Um, and I'll say we lost mum just over 6 years ago. And a lot of the decorations we'll bring out today are what mum provided. And mum was a hoarder Christmas wise, Christmas decoration wise. When I finally cleared out all the belongings afterwards, which was, as anyone knows, an awful thing to go through. The things we found, you know, hundreds of packs of Christmas cards. And although I've given a good deal to the boys, to family members, to different people, we're still working our way through packs and packs of Christmas cards, and we don't send an awful lot of Christmas cards. Um, we tend to do what everyone else does now and do the internet thing, you know, where you'll wish people Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or whatever it is people celebrate through the internet nowadays. So we're still working our way through mum's cards. So we've got ample, so we didn't need to look at that again this year, and we won't for the next few years. You know, we'll still be working our way through mum's cards, and some of this paper's still mum's paper. You know, and all the decorations, all the Father Christmases, and the houses, and these are all gifts she's bought for the boys over the years because she absolutely just loved looking at the stuff. You know, so yeah, brings a smile to your face because I can remember mum's face looking at them, and yeah, it's wonderful. So after 6 years of having, or 8 years even, of having that box that we papered in silver paper, we've decided the tree needs a new box. Please don't shout at me for biting the sellotape. I've always done it. So I'm just going to put the box underneath as cardboard and we'll repaper it after the video's been made. So otherwise we'll be here all night. So I'm not sure. Well, then we should put it that way. Give it a bit more security and a bit more height. So I will repaper that box. As you can see, I've got enough paper. We'll just use that box as a faux present, just for decoration. So let's say I'll mess with these and fill the gaps. So we've got the tree sturdy. And I think the next stage is for Mr. Wallflowers to get the lights on. And what I did last year, I was quite proud of myself, is I followed the instructions on one of the YouTube channels. And I don't know if you can see, I actually cut the card and wrap the lights properly and put them away so they won't be all tangled for Mr. Wallflowers to use. You can bet your bottom dollar there'll still be problems along the way and it'll still be that odd light that won't work, but we'll work our way through it. So that's the next step. So far so good. Mr. Wallflowers has got the trees on, the lights on the tree on the back part of it, and he's just about to put the lights on the front part of it. So I just wanted to show you the piece of cardboard with the cutouts on that I wound the lights onto to keep tidily packed away. And it's been much easier for Mr. Wallflowers to unravel them this year rather than the knotted mess we had. It took me a short while to cut the cardboard and to wind them on neatly, but it's been worthwhile. There's no stress and hissy fits, we're just getting on with it. And we're actually quite enjoying it, aren't we? Mr. Wallflowers is having a can of beer whilst he's on his holidays and he's enjoying it. It's the weekend. And I've got a nice cup of coffee on the go. We've got the heating on tonight. Temperatures are so low. And we're just enjoying bringing it together. We've got the boys coming visiting during the week. It'll be nice and cosy and Christmassy. I haven't completely finished. It is a lot more relaxed doing it without the boys. So I've just put a few of the decorations up on one cabinet. That's as far as we've got so far. I've stood Father Christmas on the other box. The one decoration that remained on the tree whilst it was packed away is one of the fir cones. It's still got a bit of its, I don't know if you can actually see in this light, it's still got a bit of its gold spray on it. All the lights have come on successfully. Mr. Wallflowers is happy. And from yet another YouTube video, we learned to zigzag the lights up and down the tree instead of round and round and getting a bit twisted and causing a bit of a mess. So Wallflowers is enjoying the easy method of up and down. And again, YouTube came to the rescue and educated us and gave us a new way of doing things. Funny how that happens, isn't it? You know, we do the same old thing 20, 30, 40 years, and then we see how other people do things and think, I'll give that a go. It seems a bit dark here, but the lights are standing out. Now, of course, we won't have the tree on often. We'll have it on when guests are here or occasionally if we're enjoying the ambient light without the big light on. Obviously, if we had family here, we'd have it on a bit more, but with us watching what electricity we're using, we'll be a bit more sparing this year, but the lights are on. You can see the up and down motion that he's doing. And the USB lights as well, so we can solar charge them too. Yeah, they look great, thank you. And now, pull the bauble box over. Mr. Wallflowers is an Evertonian. He absolutely loves his football. So although we were running late this evening, we also have to wait for one of the World Cup matches to finish. That's the reason the live stream is a bit later tomorrow evening, because who is it again? England and France. So it's the England and France game. My eldest son seems to think England have no chance and says France have a really good team. Mr. Wallflowers thinks it's 50-50 and should be a really good game. Myself, I shall busy myself in the kitchen, entertain myself while he enjoys it, and then come and join him ready for the live stream. So yes, we have a lot of blue decorations for a blue Christmas rather than red. With the two boys are Evertonians as well, and they all prefer. We do have some red on, but they all prefer to predominantly have blue ornaments, and that's what we do. And where did those blue baubles come from? Well, we always say a couple of years ago, but it's never quite a couple of years ago. When we sit and think, it's always a decade ago, isn't it? Or a couple of decades ago. But I think they're some of the more recent ones, aren't they? Well, we've always done that, haven't we? We never buy anything pre-Christmas because obviously the prices are really high, and we don't join the January sales. I think we wait till around February, don't we, for the tail end of things. Have you come across? Can I just show your? And this was one of the. He's got a piece of sellotape stuck to him at the moment. Um, Everton Bear. So he's got his hedgehog. Sorry, I stand corrected. Everton hedgehog. He sits right on the front of the Christmas tree every year. And how long have you had him, Mr. Wallflowers? So he's about 15, 20 years old. And where was he bought? Remember? My mum. Yeah. Always thank my mum for many a thing. Yeah, I think my mum bought that especially for Mr. Wallflowers with it being blue. And of course, where's he going? Let's see the smile. It's a blue, 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 blue Christmas. Do you want to swap over? So we have a box of, a lot of these will be antique Christmas decorations. Here's another one made by Oscar at school. Don't want to break any of them. So this one is a hanging Christmas tree he made one year with Christmas tree hanging from it and a snowman hanging from it. And I'm pretty sure this was first, second year of primary school. That will. I'll go towards the front so we can see that and enjoy that when he gets here. We have some more ornaments Mum's bought us. These ones take batteries, so we'll have to get some batteries out of the stockpile. And these are fibre optic ones and lovely glows to them. I think Crawford actually made this one, early primary school, and it's a peg Santa Claus with what do you call this material? With some felt and some cotton wool buds. That will get a pride of place towards the front of what he made at primary school. Now, I remember doing this with my parents. They tell us, this was Nan's ornament, meaning my dad's mother. And he'd be able to say which relative bought it for her, where it came from, and what the story was. And I think we've lost a lot of that along the way. and he'd always tell me and remind me what years I made a certain decoration. And I like to do that with the children and remind them, I call them children, they're grown now, what year they made their ornaments, what year, and we still celebrate them and we're still enjoying them. This one was a Christmas present off Father Christmas. I think it came with a selection box one year, and I can't remember which of my sons got it. As we're coming along, we'll actually find photographs. There's more, much more, but these are the first two we found. This is Oscar. He's probably about 5 on that one. He's probably about 6 on this one. And this is when he started to enjoy and understand that he got a gift off Father Christmas. But prior to the 4 and 5 and 6 ages, it screamed like a banshee, this strange man in an outfit. And, even in those days, you were paying £3.50 for a visit to see Santa because it was getting expensive anyway. And it'd be a waste of a trip because he'd just scream blue murder. And my eldest was the same when they were so young. They didn't want to sit in a strange man, didn't he? And Mum had always told them, don't get too close to men you don't know or women you don't know, anybody you don't know. And they literally cry their eyes out. But as they get older, yes, they were getting a gift. Yes, it was the celebration of Christmas and they really enjoyed it. So these two are two of him smiling. You can tell he's a happy little boy there and really impressed with the gift he's getting there. A bit of sarcasm possibly. But yeah, we're coming across those. So that one I'm sure was a Santa gift. I'm not sure which one. Now, there's lots of different ones. At one stage, I actually collected some fir cones. It was you and I together, wasn't it? And we brought them home and we paid out, craft things, and we always thought, well, we'd do things and buy crafts, and you don't realise sometimes how expensive it is to buy crafts, to buy paints, acrylics, different things, your ribbons, wherever, that's what the charity shops are for now, I find. You can find ribbons attached to different things, you can be buying a night dress, for instance, an old-fashioned all-in-one night dress, and it can have ribbons on, and you can take them off. You can take it off the food packaging when it comes on the tins, etc., and then use the excess material from the night dress or something else, either for jar covers when you're preserving food, or make a pillowcase out of it, or whatever you need that material for. But to go out and buy the crafts, I've got a couple of friends and they've got rooms and rooms in the houses full of card making equipment, cards, crafts, ribbon, you name it, a whole supply of absolutely all kinds, and they no longer do it. It's taking up the space in the home that they haven't got access to, and it's thousands and thousands of pounds worth of craft material. And I just, once I'd done a couple of crafts and I realised how expensive it is. Don't get me wrong, occasionally if I'm doing a DIY project in the home or I'm doing a specific job, I'll look for the cheapest materials and I will craft with it, but I won't go to craft shops and pay craft prices for minimal things to cut up and make a bow for a Christmas decoration. I'll use what I've got, what I've found. Surprising how many things I'll have bits of ribbon on or bits of different things on. But yeah, it's the approach. If you're going out specifically to craft shops or specialist shops for anything, you can pay through the nose. These are really old, and these came from an older lady who'd befriended us from my mum's sheltered accommodation, and this lady was called Joan. And she was a really funny lady. I lived by her when I was younger, and they're really old, you know. I'd lived by her when I was older. They're made from what's that stuff you can grate on the wall? The white the white stuff in between. It's not chalk, it's polystyrene. They're made from polystyrene and coated in kind of an enamel. And I've really just liked the effect of it. You know, it looks antique traditional, but they are older than themselves. I don't know how old, as I say, because that's polystyrene ball inside. Joan's been gone about 20 years, that's right. Um, she'd come to our old house and visit us, if not every day, every other day. And whilst Mr. Wallflowers was at work, we'd sit and have lunch together and have a natter and about her family, about my family. She knew quite a few members of my family. My dad had I say had, my dad died when I was 21, a long time since. My dad was one of 12, and it was evenly split. It was 6 boys, 6 girls, and Joan knew all the members of my dad's family. And so we knew a lot about each other's lives. As I say, Joan died in her 80s, 20 years ago, but she was a lovely woman and she had such a sense of humour. You know, she had severe diverticulitis and she struggled to eat. Um, and when I asked her what kind of meals she'd eat at home, she'd be telling me she'd be living off cup of soups. And I'd be quite worried about her. So each time she came, I'd make sure I was in the kitchen and just conveniently preparing a lunch for myself or a snack for myself and make sure I fed Joan, make sure she had something substantial in there. Wide various different meals we'd have. And she'd always finish a plate, you know, and she'd always enjoy. We'd sit there for quite a few hours and enjoy each other's company, and it was absolutely fabulous. And as I say, these ornaments were a gift from Joan one year, but they were from her own collection. And as she lived in the sheltered accommodation, she no longer had the big family tree that she used to have. And therefore she trimmed down on a lot of the decorations, and she wanted me to have. There's quite a few of those. I think there's about 9 in total of those ones. Um, Her son was what they call a roadie, and he worked with you too, yeah. Phil, and he quite a good career. He was with a number of other groups as well, and he really done well for himself. I don't know what he's up to these days because after Joan went, we lost contact with her family because they moved, you know, he'd moved on and had a family, and life takes over, really, doesn't it? You know, I'm not sure where these came from. I think Wynne got us these one year. Another older lady, she's 83 now, and she came to share Christmas dinner with us 2 years ago. And she gifted us some baubles. Now, although these look really oldie worldy, they're actually quite new. But I just like the look of the oldie worldy style of them. Um, and we shall go towards the top. Wynn's been quite ill recently, and we're all keeping her in mind to hope she's okay. She's been out, in and out of hospital a few times, and we're just hoping everything's fine. She's really normally a strong, robust lady. Um, yep, keep her in mind. Now these were mums, weren't they? Yeah, the heavier ones have to twist the arms up to make sure they keep the weight of them. Um, we keep all the bowie ones separate and add them on later. Okay, we'll come back and put quite a few on, and then we'll come back. Our decorations on the Christmas tree. We've decided not to put any tinsel on and just let the ornaments speak for themselves this year. And I must admit, we've put more ornaments on than what we normally do. I think we've just gone for it this year as we're enjoying it. I wish I had more stories I could divulge, but Mr. Wallflowers and I have just sat here on the floor putting decorations on and talking about memories. But we will be discussing Christmas memories, Christmas stories, and we hope you share yours with us because they'll be so wonderful for us to hear them. Let's just have a good old natter tomorrow night on the live stream on the Wallflowers channel starting 9 o'clock. But yeah, hope you like our little display. I've put the candy canes on and I've put a couple of the crackers in. And I'm sure over the next couple of weeks I'll fuss and I'll spend time and enjoy pondering and messing and putting different things on as we do every year, you know. And then tomorrow I'll put the stockings up. It's gone midnight here, and we're still faffing about, you know. So we need to sit down. I'm just having a cup of coffee now. We need to sit down, have a little break. It's been a long, long day for us, but we've thoroughly enjoyed putting the tree together. As I say, we'll put the stockings and some tinsel around and do the rest of our decorations tomorrow. So, yeah, glad you can join us and join us tomorrow and tell us some of your stories, please. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.